welcome to the Pounder Podcast, a podcast about everything Central.
Everything?
Well, not everything. That'd take too long and probably get really boring.
You're not wrong.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Bree.
In this episode, we're going to talk to seniors Nicholas Garnand and Zane Ferrying about their plans for after graduation, when they finally leave Central behind in the rearview mirrors.
Next year, that'll be us.
That's scary.
A little bit. But first, for 2022 graduates. I'm here with
Nicholas Garnand.
So graduation's fast approaching. Do you have any idea what you want to do?
Yeah, I'm currently enrolled in, I guess next fall for Blue Sky Institute.
Could you explain to me what exactly that is?
Blue Sky Institute's a college that they recently opened. This will be the first year it's actually up and running. Because of COVID and stuff, they dropped back the date on stuff that they needed to get stuff released. But the school's first year is going to be in this fall, and the institute itself is a sort of accelerated program for bachelor's degree in computing, specifically for Blue Cross Blue Shield, which they offer a job opportunity afterward.
What do you plan to do at Blue Sky? What are you studying?
We study all of the normal courses that we need to get through. After that, we paid interns, where we can sort of go through the workforce in Blue Cross Blue Shield, different computing stuff, and then after that decide what we want to do and focus a little bit more on making our careers.
How is it that you came to know about Blue Sky?
Miss Alexander sent an email a long time ago at this point where she basically just asked a bunch of senior questions and stuff like that, and then at the bottom of it there was a thing that said, if you're interested in video games and design, email me back. So I talked to a bunch of friends and eventually got all of them to sort of join me on this, and we ended up going back and talking to Alexander, and it was an event that Blue Sky was hosting to sort of jumpstart the college. And the event itself consisted of, basically, they got all of us into a big room, from a ton of different schools, about 4-ish people to a team, and we designed a small video game that you could design in a couple of hours, and a controller to play it with. And then after we got done with that, they had a big panel interview thing sort of explaining what Blue Sky is, and basically from that moment forward I kind of figured that that's what I felt like doing.
So you said there were job opportunities. Could you elaborate?
Once we got done with the first year of the schooling, we'll have all of our classes done. This is through the summer, but we have to go through and do a whole bunch of different classes that we needed to go ahead and get set up. We could go through with all those classes, and then once we get done, they have a paid internship. We'll be able to start making some money in college, and then after that, we're going basically directly into sort of finding what fits you. There's a ton of different types of jobs at Blue Cross Blue Shield. And basically they're trying to find out what you enjoy the most and what fits you the best, what you're good at, etc.
Do you have any idea what job you want to go into?
Something to do with software. Software is really interesting to me. It's been interesting. And the person that sort of deals with the software and stuff for the actual college is really, really nice. I met him the other day whenever I said that I was interested in it in my interview that I did for the college. So,
could you give me some specifics about Blue Sky?
Blue Sky, the actual program itself, is 27 months for a bachelor's that's going through the summer. So it'll be basically all hands on deck from the get-go. But the actual college itself only has around 31 students, I think, total. They got accepted. We have 4 from Central as well. The college itself is through ETSU. It's sort of a branch off of it. I know one of the teachers there is from ETSU. And then the campus itself is up in downtown Chattanooga, near Coolidge Park and stuff. It's a really, really pretty campus, sort of on a hill that overlooks the city, where it's just far enough out to where it's there's a bunch of grass and stuff like that. You can see deer and stuff, but close enough to the city where you can still get all the lights and stuff like that.
Sounds gorgeous. What are your opinions on Blue Sky? Are you excited to go?
Yeah, the actual program itself is something that I was looking for in a college. I didn't want to be stuck in a college for 4 years in general. So with them saying that we could go ahead and get it done quickly, I was super excited, especially since I was already taking some college courses for that reason. I had to sort of get things out of the way so that I was more prepared for whenever I get out of college. The actual program itself they were saying it was going to be really, really difficult, but a lot of the courses that they have assigned seem pretty interesting, especially sort of the later ones. The first year, the first couple of quarters is going to be pretty bogged down with some pretty boring classes. But after that, we get into some fun classes that they said were going to be very, very difficult, but I think it's going to be a lot more fun than what they all really let on. Because we only have 31 students, it also allows for a lot of different out-of-school activities. So they were already talking to us about interesting things that we could do, class, field trips, stuff like that. They give us presents for stuff we're getting in, and they've a bunch of different type of banquets and stuff like that for us. They're really, really nice in what they do for us already, and you can see it through them and us that everybody's sort of really excited for the program in general, student and administration. Overall, the program itself is very, very on hand. So if you're a student who sort of has a hard time sitting down and reading books and doing work over and over again, it's a really good program. The actual on-hand experience is going to be very, very helpful for those who really, really just want to get out of high school and be done with it, be done with all of the books and all that. It helps you get through stuff a whole lot quicker. So if you're tired of, sitting around and doing classes that you really don't really want to be doing, the program sort of gets them done and it sort of pulls off the band-aid fast and easy, so you don't have to worry about those. It also gives a really good opportunity for those who don't know what they're going to do. As long as you're sort of interested in computing, the program can basically fit whatever you want, especially during the internship where they just allow you to, basically it's a playground to go explore what you're interested in and sort of set up for a new career. It sort of helps take the ease off of job hunting as well. If you're you're getting out of high school or college, it's often pretty hard to find out what you want to do afterward. But this sort of program helps explore those different outlets, finding something that fits best for you. And I just think overall it's a really, really good program, and I would highly recommend it even before I get into any other students who seem interested in stuff like that.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to interview with me. You've been great.
Thank you for having me. It's fun to sort of let people in on the sort of smaller college that it is. It's something that I think a lot of people are missing out on.
Definitely. Well, thank you again. Have a great day.
Now for someone with a different plan for their future, I'm here with
Zane, Ferrying.
Graduation is coming up fast. What do you plan to do after?
I plan on going to college at either the University of Tennessee in Knoxville or Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute with an ROTC scholarship.
What do you plan to major in?
There, I plan to major in nuclear engineering.
So are you planning on going in the military afterward?
Yes.
What branch?
Army.
What do you want to do in the Army?
I would like to go into the Corps of Engineers where they kind of like make bridges, dams, and just use their engineering degrees that they earn in college.
Do you plan on enlisting or going in as an officer or what?
If I do the ROTC program, then I would go in as an officer.
Is there anything that you're excited or what makes you want to do it?
My stepfather was in the military, and I've been around that a lot, and I also like the people that are associated with it and the life experiences you can get.
Is there any other things that you've ever thought about doing other than the military?
Really just, if the military doesn't work out, then going private with a nuclear engineering degree or traveling the world.
What made you choose nuclear engineering?
I like chemistry and I like physics, and it was a mixture of both. So I thought that was the degree for me.
So out of the schools you chose, why did you choose those two?
I chose University of Tennessee in Knoxville because it was the only college in Tennessee with a nuclear program. And so I needed an in-state school as a backup for in case anything else didn't work out. And I chose Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute because it was my second choice, and it was up in New York where I knew I wanted to go to college at.
Why do you want to go to college up there?
I had family out there, and I also just like the state, the scenery, and the program itself that they have for engineering is one of the top ones.
Why specifically the Army?
Most of the people I've interacted with in the military were Army.
Have you ever considered going to any other branch of the military?
At first, I considered going Air Force and the Navy, and then finally settled on Army.
Have you talked to anybody about it so far? Any teachers and recommendations for it and everything?
My JROTC instructors have helped me along with kind of the process of the ROTC scholarship and the recommendations needed for that.
Just specifically, coming into high school, has it changed a lot, your view of what you wanted to do from freshman year to now?
Oh, yes. My freshman year, I was not so sure about going in the military, and I knew I wanted engineering, but I didn't know which field. And then progressing through classes, my chemistry class I had my sophomore year kind of set in stone that I wanted nuclear engineering. And going through the JROTC program, push along, I kind of wanted the Army.
When you go to college, do you plan on staying on campus?
I plan on staying on campus. The probably all 4 years, I'll probably get a part-time job while going to school.
Is there anybody else that you kind of made a choice with and you're like, we could do this together?
So far, I don't know anybody else going to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. And then UTK, and there are quite a few people going there, but I didn't really choose it for others going there. I just chose it for the program that they had.
So for the ROTC scholarship, how did you get that? Like, did you have to apply? Were you recommended for it? How did that work?
For the ROTC scholarship, you have to apply through the actual Army website, and you will upload your high school transcripts. If you take any college courses, those transcripts, you'll have to go through many questionnaires, and then recommendations from teachers, and finally a interview with one of the head instructors at some of the ROTC programs around here. I did an interview with the person in charge of the UTK program, and then after that, your file will be inspected by other people that head the ROTC programs at different schools, and if you're chosen as a winner, then you're notified.
Were you nervous about it, like going into it? Did you think, like, were you like, oh, I could get this, like, I think I'm going to get this, or were you kind of like nervous, like didn't know for sure about it?
They have 3 different boards, and I kind of procrastinated to the last one, and so I had everything turned in by the deadline, and I was just very nervous about whether I would win or not, because I had some semblance of a backup plan, but that was my main thing I was going for, as a backup.
Was it like specific the East or the West, or like the country, like what areas?
I believe it's just the whole United States. Any high schooler or someone between the ages of 17 to 23, I think, could apply for it, and they could, if they're chosen, they're chosen. If not, there's varying levels to the scholarship.
So you're going to college for a 4-year degree?
Yes.
Are you going to take any time off before you join the Army or do anything? Or are you just going to go 4 years, then after you graduate, you're just going to go?
With the ROTC scholarship, you'll go 4 years, and immediately after you graduate, you'll commission into the Army.
Is there a set time you're going to be in the Army? Have you decided on whether or not you want to stay in it, like, as a long-term career, like lifetime career, or just like do it and then transition into everything else and get a regular job?
One of the requirements for the scholarship is you have to serve 8 years in the Army, with 5 having to be active, and you can choose the last 3 as either reserve or active. I plan on doing reserve, and right now, after the 8 years, I plan on just getting out of the Army.
Why are you choosing to get out of the Army instead of making a full-blown career out of it?
I would still like to, I like the military aspect, but I would still like to kind of have more of the freedom as people would get if they're not kind of tied down to what the government says.
That makes sense. Are you ready for your high school to be over and to start college?
I'm very excited. It's a bit stressful knowing that all your deadlines for colleges and paying for enrollment are coming up fast, but it's also very rewarding to know that spending 4 years trying to just get a diploma that could be the end of your education, it's rewarding to know that it's getting close to it.
With you getting the ROTC scholarship and going to college and then joining the Army, is that something that you would recommend to somebody, or say that that's something that is like would be worth it to do and stuff?
It's definitely not for everybody, but if you do like a more structured lifestyle and kind of thrive in that environment, especially kind of just JRTC, even though it's really just a small semblance of what it will be like, then I do recommend going for the ROTC scholarship or a service academy.
Thank you for doing an interview with us.
Thank you. It was nice.
Let's hope those plans work out.
I'm sure they will. With that, we've come to the end of this episode of the Pounder Podcast.
Is there anywhere we can go to check up on Central News?
I'm glad you asked. You can check the Central Digest for your latest Pounder news.
Thank you for listening, and good luck to all you seniors moving on this year.